Valdemar Galvan is calling for Bigfoot to show itself here in Normanna, just north of Beeville.
Sometimes they're close by. You can hear knocking or shaking of a tree or something, but they'll let you know that they're close by.
Galvan says this area along Meadow Creek is a favorite hangout for the creature. He runs the B County Bigfoot Research Group.
When I saw it, it looked just like a person, it looked like a man in two legs.
Here inside the historic McClanahan house in Beeville, Galvan and other Bigfoot believers agreed to go on TV in the hopes that others would step forward with their own stories of the beast.
Why is Bigfoot so elusive if there is, in fact, such an animal that's 7, 8, 9 feet tall in Texas?
A lot of people have seen him around here. Mainly it's along the creeks.
That's Richard Robbie, a local real estate agent. He showed us a picture that he took of what he feels was a structure built by one of the creatures.
The blood runs cold.
That was his reaction after he and his grandson spotted one along a creek bed. We learned of one of the first supposed Bigfoot sightings in the county. That happened in Normanna back in 1925 when the creature surprised some cowboys inside a ranch house.
He actually stuck his whole head into the window, and the gentleman said his mouth was this big and his eyes were so big. And then so the animal made a just sound out in there, and then so the animal took off.
Felix Abrego remembered the day he was working on a ranch and spotted the thing.
The one I saw had to have been like 9 foot tall. And his hands were below his knees. And he was just taking big old steps, but like he was out for a leisure walk.
That encounter seemed to have made a real impression.
And I tell you what, I don't go out in the brush by myself no more. And if I do, I take a big gun.
Back in March, here just outside of Normanna, a ranch hand was working in this same exact spot when his dogs began to bark. Then they took off running towards something. When he took a look, well, it was simply too hard to believe.
And I see this, it just looked like this big old black shadow that just seemed to be, walking across the street.
Edward Robinson got into his truck and raced to get a closer look, but it was gone by the time he got there.
I wish somebody would find a good picture or a family or group of them, you know what I'm saying? There can't be just one in all of this area that's just traveling around, doing stuff. It's got to be more than one.
We've been doing research for 35 years on rare and elusive mammal species. Bigfoot is not real. It does not exist.
While mainstream scientists say a creature like this doesn't exist, Galvan and his research group will continue looking for the evidence here in Normanna that Bigfoot is more than just a legend. From B County, Michael Gibson, 3 News.
A sunny November day greets South Texas as usual, but while most are spending this day working, Jonathan McComb is reflecting about a day that began similarly 6 months ago.
It was a beautiful day, sunshine, all day long. We were in the river swimming.
That day spent in Wimberley, Texas, a quaint town along the Blanco River his family had never stayed at before. Oh no! But that night became a nightmare. Severe weather pounded Wimberley. The Blanco River rose to a record 44 feet that night in mere minutes, knocking the home they stayed in off its foundation, sending it flying downstream. And one by one, Jonathan lost loved ones into the river. His wife, Laura, his 6-year-old son, Andrew, his 4-year-old daughter, Layton, and friends.
I was shaking so bad, one from knowing what just happened and knowing I was never going to see, my family and friends again.
6 months later,
yeah, come here.
Jonathan is now living a new normal, but his home remains the exact same as it did before his family left that weekend. Toys, stuffed animals, still laying out.
How did you walk back into this house that has so many memories of your family? I mean, how did you do that?
And lots of people have asked me that question. I said, there were so many good memories here that it does make me feel better. I mean, I think if I went somewhere else where their memory wasn't, that I felt like I would maybe lose them again for a second time.
But now, these memories hold his greatest moments, starting with what he calls the first best day of his life, his wedding day with Laura.
A lot of good memories.
And something special he just found from their honeymoon now rests on top of a wedding picture that shows just how in love they were.
That's actually a champagne cork from our honeymoon in Anguilla, 05.
And then, a few years later, the second best day of his life, the day his son Andrew was born, the son he always wanted.
You like to fish with you, right?
I like to fish, I like to hunt, go to the ranch.
Andrew's words now keeping his spirit alive. His school just found his daily classroom journal, Jonathan reading through it for the first time.
One day I was at school and it was the best day ever because it was Valentine's.
And then one page that wasn't about school, but about his dad, a simple sentence and drawing.
My dad is the best because he plays with me.
Andrew was the best big brother to his little sister Layton. The day she was born, the third best day of Jonathan's life. Like any little girl, she loved the color pink and playing dress up. That sweet smile, the last thing Jonathan would see before he went to bed.
I'd blow her a kiss and she'd catch it and then she'd put it in her heart and you know, she'd blow it back to me and I'd catch it and so it was always special.
Jonathan's brother Justin, still struggling to answer a question his oldest son Alex has asked over and over again.
Dad, if we haven't found Layton, how do we know that she's in heaven? That's what we have to believe. That whether or not we find Layton's body, we know that Layton is waiting there for us.
And it's that faith that keeps Jonathan and his family strong, which is why there is a fourth best day of his life.
Knowing that they're all in heaven, without a doubt. You know, if I had doubts, I'm not sure that I could be where I am today.
He knows he's never alone.
Daddy misses you. I'm not going to forget you.
And most importantly, never without love. Brianna Whitney, 3 News.
When I play my horn, the shake would get pretty violent. I wanted to be a college professor and I wanted to play my horn.
Jennifer Schultes' life revolved around playing and teaching the French horn.
There's something therapeutic about playing. It's part of you. It's germane to who you are.
That changed when she noticed parts of her body shaking involuntarily.
My head would shake like this, okay, and I couldn't control it. It was a very small but rapid movement. And then it was in my voice.
At 40 years old, the music professor at Texas A&M Kingsville was diagnosed with essential tremor in the year 2000, a neurological disorder passed on by her mother.
The voice is controlled by the airstream, and it's airstream that I blow into my horn. And so when I blow a note, it would go ha 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 ha.
The tremors started interfering with Jennifer's quality of life, which included performing solos in 2 orchestras.
I quit because it became too much of a struggle. The weekends of performances, I would almost dread them because I was so stressed. I accepted that this is what life had given me.
Then she learned about deep brain stimulation therapy. The procedure involves planting a small pacemaker-like device underneath the chest, which then sends electronic signals to an area in the brain that controls movement.
We can put these leads in a lot of different areas. So what we're treating, we put in the leads.
Neurosurgeon Dr. Matthew Alexander performed the surgery on Jennifer. DBS actually treats 2 kinds of tremors.
So Parkinson's tremor usually is a resting tremor. So the patient's usually having the arm or the leg, even the face, is always constantly having a tremor. Where essential tremor is when you have an active motion, it causes you see the tremor. So when you're holding a cup of water, over time you have more shaking, and that's a more essential tremor. So you can see affects the arms and the legs.
We caught up with Dr. Alexander during pre-op for a Parkinson's patient.
You can actually hear the brain cells going from the cortex all the way down to our target nucleus. In the subthalamic nucleus, it almost sounds like raindrops on a shed, type of sound. And then we also have the patient's wide awake. So that's the second part of the operation, is we want to make sure we test to see if the tremor gets better.
What's left of Jennifer's DBS procedure, which was done in January, are just a couple of bumps underneath the hair that is quickly growing back.
And then I have another one over here. And
I even have to dig for it. Okay, I see a little
so
where there might have where they put the incision. Where they have to sew it back up. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I have lines running from those, and you can feel it on the side of my head right here.
And this is going to be hard to see, but I can certainly feel it.
What Jennifer can feel is the joy of playing her instrument the way she remembers.
I am my horn. You know, I am the music I play.
Jane Monreal, 3 News.
You don't know if you're really on a public Wi-Fi.
You can find free Wi-Fi almost everywhere you go these days, from shopping malls to libraries, airports to parks. It's a modern-day convenience for users, but it can also serve as ground zero for hackers.
We find that people are less often being mugged on the street and more often being taken advantage of through the internet.
New research reveals that identity theft and stolen credit card information are the top digital concerns for consumers. The study also finds 1/3 of Americans have been victims of identity theft.
Depending upon what kind of device you have and what security measures you have on your device, the sophistication of the attack, I can go in and find, you know, your wallet if you have that e-wallet.
Information security specialist Dr. David Abarca has a warning the next time you want to attach to public Wi-Fi. Even a mediocre hacker with the right software can replicate a business owner's router.
This now becomes what's called a man-in-the-middle attack. I sit between you, when you connect to me, I sit between you and the internet. I can watch everything coming in and go out, everything comes back in and goes to you.
That includes your passwords, email, even bank account information.
We're now connected to the iPad via this rogue Wi-Fi.
People will just log into these free Wi-Fi hotspots just assuming that they are located in the business. So it's really important for consumers to first check with the business first to make sure it's actually their public Wi-Fi service.
That's what customers at this local coffee shop do.
We play games, a lot of Facebook.
Stinger's coffee shop owner Holly Borcher says since she offered free Wi-Fi 7 years ago, none of her customers have experienced a hacker.
It was huge. People loved it. They would come in and say, "Do you have Wi-Fi?"
Borcher's is also sure to have security measures in place.
The Wi-Fi actually has a password on it, so I feel much more safe using it, knowing that you need a password to get onto the Wi-Fi.
Well, this Wi-Fi hotspot is clearly a convenience for its customers at the coffee shop. But if you must look at personal information online, a couple of things you might want to consider. The first is using a secured network. Not everybody has it, and it might cost extra. The second is using something that's called a VPN.
It would be like sending information through a tunnel that nobody could penetrate. And so even though it would be on an unsecured network, your phone is connecting securely to your virtual private network or your VPN service, and then from there you can go out on the internet and do whatever you want to do.
Abarca says as long as you're only browsing the internet, go ahead and take advantage of free public Wi-Fi.
It's not so much connecting, it's what you do when you are connected.
Jane Monreal, 3 News.
If you'd like to take a tour of Corpus Christi by way of 2 wheels, maybe get a little exercise, or if you just want to make it from point A to B, Bike Corpus Christi might be for you.
2, 3.
The brand new bikes arrived by police escort and were soon put into action. And with that, they were off and riding. 70 brand new bikes will now be available for rent.
It's very affordable. Again, you sign up through an app on your smartphone, and it's the first 59 minutes of riding are free. And then it's $3 an hour afterwards.
We caught up with riders who are anxious to test out the new wheels.
It's a wonderful addition to downtown, and it's really going to help people, you know, get in shape and be able to see a lot of the activities down here and things that they otherwise wouldn't want to walk to.
And city leaders hope that this will help with tourism and promote a healthier lifestyle. Preston West, 3 News.
Lemonade!
My son Christopher is 6.
Lemonade for sale.
I was speaking with him about our garage sale.
Brownies, cupcakes.
He said, oh, a lemonade stand, and he wanted to donate the funds to Make-A-Wish.
My name is Arlo.
A year ago, Arlo was diagnosed with a cerebral cavernous malformation. It's a collection of abnormal blood vessels in the brain. He was having 60 to 90 plus seizures a day. We were referred to Make-A-Wish. We were able to go on our Make-A-Wish trip based on his condition. He cares so much for his brother, and he is very protective over him.
What are you supposed to do a lot?
And wants to help him. They removed his malformations, but he's having kind of some residual effects. It has been the most difficult thing I've ever had to experience.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Would you like some lemonade? There we go. Saturday, tomorrow, we will be out from about 8 until 12.
Lemonade. Go get some.
We would love it if everybody could come by and support their cause.
Cupcakes, brownies.
They are the light of my life, and they make my world.